Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling, previewing Tennessee, Georgia, talking college football, and there is a lot to talk about. With ESPN college football analyst and former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray, who joins us this morning on the phones. Aaron, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing well. Actually woke up this morning in the 40s, so it feels like fall is finally here in Atlanta. We got a it feels good. It feels like football. So
yes.
Just gearing up for the big weekend against the Vols.
I love it. Well, Aaron, what is the vibe in Athens right now? Because you have got a program that has a chance still this weekend to essentially do what Alabama did last week and say, no, we're still that team. We're still that program. When Alabama went to LSU, what is your feeling about just the psyche of this Georgia team right now that Aaron is doing a lot of things that typical Georgia teams don't usually do?
Yeah, not good, to be honest, at all. If you're a Georgia fan and, watch the team and see what Kirby's been able to build over the past few years, it's a lot of very uncharacteristic things are going on right now. Turnovers, offensive line has been kind of a little bit erratic at times. I know a lot has to do with the injuries up front, but just a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of self-inflicted wounds. And, I have this feeling about two teams in the SEC right now, Missouri and Georgia, when it comes to offense. You head into the season with Missouri, and you're like, okay, you got Brady Cook, you got Luther Burden, you got Theo Weiss, Carroll in the transfer portal, the running back spot. They should be good. They were good last year. Why can't they be good this year? And it just every single week you're waiting. Georgia, you got Carson. You got this offensive line that preseason everyone's saying could be the best offensive line Kirby's had in 5 years. You got Etienne in the portal. You got all these receivers that are back, and it just hasn't clicked. So to me, I sit back and I say, listen, we are heading into week 12. I'm not going to sit here and hope and pray that Georgia's offense and Missouri's offense, for example, too, is just magically it's going to click. You are who you are. You are who you are by middle of the season. You definitely are who you are right now. They're just not a good offense. Too many mistakes at every single position. Too much inconsistency at every single position. And unfortunately, I don't know if they win or not this weekend versus Tennessee, because Tennessee has their own issues on offense too. But the defense is really good. But this is not 2021 defense Georgia. I don't know if the defense is good enough to win you a national championship. And, unfortunately, that is now the standard in Georgia. Either you're good enough to win a national championship or you're not a good football team. And right now, I just don't know if this team's good enough from what we've seen on offense to go out there and win a national championship.
ESPN analyst, former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray, our guest. So, Aaron, I know it's a complex question, but when you look at what is wrong with Carson Beck, what is the number one reason, in your opinion, that he has not lived up to expectations this year?
He's pressing, man, and I think it has to do with the guys around him a little bit. And I'm not here to defend Carson because I'm a former quarterback, and I did back in the day. Listen, it's always the receiver's fault. It's always the offensive line's fault. It's never the quarterback's fault, right? But he put a lot on himself to be that Heisman caliber quarterback, to be that top 5 pick NFL draft pick, and when guys around you are not performing to a high level, you start to feel like you got to be Superman. When you go back, for those who watch Georgia football, the offensive line issues, the guys that are injured up front, the receivers dropping passes. You don't have Ladd, you don't have Brock. And I think that's a little bit frustrating for a guy that, to me, I still believe has first-round talent. Obviously, it's going to be hard for him to get drafted in the first round unless he, significantly starts playing better, because at the end of the day, those guys, they love the talent, they love the size, but you still got to go out there and be consistent and take care of the football, and he hasn't done that this year. But I think he's just pressing. Like I said, he's trying to make the perfect throw. He's trying to elevate everyone around him, which you appreciate. But at times, you just got to say, listen, we do have a great defense. If it's, for example, 2 weeks ago versus Florida, it's a 3rd and 10 situation. It's a dig route, so like a deep 10-yard in with a check down. And you're just going to high-load the linebacker. If the linebacker gets stepped, you take the check down. And then it's that guy's job at that point to get a first down. And Carson, the linebacker, dropped. He tries to force a dig route, and then he almost throws his 4th interception of the football game. So it's plays like that where it's like Carson, Lawson Lucky's sitting right there, throwing the pass. You have to trust that he's going to get the first down. Instead, Carson's mentality is like, I have to make the perfect throw in order for us to move the football. And until he gets over that, this offense will continue to struggle.
Former Georgia quarterback and ESPN's Aaron Murray is with us this morning. Aaron, man, as it pertains to Coach Kirby and what he does for this team, and we've heard, I'm not sure how this audio continuously gets out of him just cussing and just going bananas at practice, right? But he has the ability to do that, man. What is it about him that he brought to Georgia that a coach like Mark Richt had? And I just want to tell you, I miss the days of Mark Richt where we could just come down to Athens and beat you guys, man. I mean, he played. I played. I'm here for the trash talk, okay, Aaron? So what was the difference and why was that change made for Kirby Smart?
Hey, listen. I just want to say right now, your boy over here 4-0 versus Tennessee. So I can take it for the Dogs. At least, hey, I got the job done when I was there. So that's all I can handle, right?
Look at the big eye guy here. Look at the big eye guy here, Aaron. All right, I'm here for it. I never lost in Athens, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, when we talk about this matchup, Aaron, I say, oh, we gonna win. Okay, I know it hadn't been like that lately, but that's my feel though, because I appreciate you guys down there. But go ahead, I get out your way.
Yeah. Well, first off, my sister married a Tennessee baseball player, so there's a lot on the line in the Murray family household this weekend of my niece and nephew wearing that that ugly orange or getting a sports of red and black. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm good buddies with Josh Dawgs, so him and I gonna be talking some trash later in the week too. So it's a fun. I love it. This is SEC football. This is what the rivalries what make it really really special. But Kirby brought that intensity, and I love Coach Rick. I'm still very close to Coach Rick, and actually was just with him a few weeks ago to help raise up. He raised a ton of money to help fight Parkinson's.
Yes.
And, just really amazing what he's how he's been fighting that disease. But no, it's a different level of juice that Kirby brings. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Kirby is intense. Kirby is incredible on the recruiting trail. Kirby is relentless when it comes to fundraising. I mean, I don't know how he does it, and I don't know if it's sustainable or not in the long term. Yeah. But you talk to people in that program, he wears every hat. He wants to know every conversation. He wants to know every little detail that's going on inside the Buttsmere facility. And it's amazing. And I talk to people like, listen, you think he can't handle it, but somehow he can. He remembers every little detail about every recruit, every dealing with injuries or grades or just anything. It's crazy what that man can retain, and then he brings that motivation factor. And I'm telling you what, some of those halftime speeches that got leaked or pregame speeches, has me as a former player I want to run through a damn wall. So he knows how to press right buttons, and he's gonna have to bring out his A game, once again this week because. I'm with you, man. I'm nervous as hell. I ain't gonna lie. I like Tennessee. I've done numerous videos on Nico this earlier in the season in his game, and I think he's getting back to playing the way that he looked like to start the season. It's an incredible defense, awesome defensive line. It's a complete team. Tennessee's a team where they kind of went down a little bit offensively. Nico started to be a little bit hesitant throwing the football. I think the receivers maybe aren't as good as we thought they were to start the year. But it's as complete as a football team in college football as you're going to get. So it's just a matter of can the young quarterback who still played a lot of football by now come into that environment Saturday night game primetime game and handle that defense.
Former Georgia quarterback and ESPN Aaron Murray is with us this morning, man. Now we can get to the respect factor of things, man. I appreciate you playing my game right there, Aaron, okay? So let's eliminate the quarterback. So you mentioned yours got issues, mine does too, right? Ours does too. All right, what this game boils down to is the bigs on both sides of the ball. And you guys' running game and Dylan Sampson for the Vols has been hot, right? Is Georgia good enough defensively to stop him? And the other side of that too is if you're going to win these type of night games in the SEC, the same way Alabama won last week at LSU, it does start on the ground, man. What's the issues going on right now? Is it Nate Frazier and Trevor Etienne in the running game?
Well, Trevor was banged up a week ago, so I think you're hoping Trevor is at close to near full speed as you can get right now, and then they're going to need him. I love Nate. Nate's still he reminds me a lot. I was talking with Noshawn Marino the other day. He reminds me a lot of Noshawn. I was like, Noshawn, he literally looks like you, just tough, strong, relentless, doesn't want to go down. And, at times that hurts you a little bit because sometimes you just got to say, listen, I got to protect the football. I got to go down instead of trying to get that extra yard. But I do love the way the young kid runs the football. But Etienne's just got a little something extra to him that, if he's full strength and you get that 1-2 punch of those two guys, you feel a lot better. But I think for both teams, it's not about, I would say this, more for Georgia, it's not about the running backs. I think the running backs are good. I think it's everything else around them. It's this offensive line. You had 2 injuries a week ago, moving guys around. I mean, I don't know if you all seen the clip or not, but there's one play where Cash Jones gets the handoff, and the center and both guards, all 3 of them missed their blocks. I mean, it looked like a screen pass. Mm-hmm. It always looked like a screen pass, and Cash is getting jacked up in the backfield. You're like, what is going on up front where these guys are not able? And listen, Ole Miss's defensive line's legit. We all know that. But still, there's a level of expectation at Georgia, and right now those guys are better pass blockers than they are run blockers, and that's a problem, man. Like you said, you still got to in this day, this era of football, games are still won at the line of scrimmage. And you said it too. Like last week was a perfect example. LSU's elite in pass protection. They've struggled running the football. Alabama's a bunch of big bulldozers that just want to get downhill to run the football with Jalen. So that still wins you football games, no doubt about it. It's won the past 3 national championships. Georgia, for 2 straight years, was the most physical team at the line of scrimmage. Michigan, the most physical team at the line of scrimmage. This is still football. They still wear pads. They still wear helmets. So, yeah, this is a game where the more physical team's going to want to win. I think for Nico, the big question, I'm sure y'all have talked about before, is just making the right decisions in the RPO game. The amount of times that I watch a Tennessee game and, he's throwing it with a light box where you're like, come on, Nico, you got numbers, just run the football, and then vice versa. So, I know that y'all probably know better than me. I know there's rumors that he's in concussion protocol or whatever it is and may not play this weekend. But, if he's healthy and ready to go, I think for him it's just making the right decisions within the system and then just taking completions. And I anticipate a lower scoring game. I don't think this thing is going to get in the 30s. I think this is like a high teens, low 20s type of football game. So it comes down to just, can both the quarterbacks make the right decisions in the run-pass game? And, can you maybe hit a couple shots?
Right.
Talking with former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. You can check him out on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Aaron Murray 11. Does a lot of work for ESPN as an analyst. Aaron, so a broad kind of look at the SEC right now. It has been such an interesting year. There's been some parity involved. There's not really one top dog, no pun intended. What do you feel about the changing of the landscape, specifically what you've seen here in the SEC?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, this is fun. This is what it should be. It should be, every single week we have no idea who's going to win. Every single week there's an opportunity for an upset. Every single week, we're realigning who we think can make the playoffs or who can make it to the SEC championship game. This is, to me, it's been the most exciting college football season I've ever been a part of. And we're going to get, 3 more weeks of uncertainty, of craziness. I mean, we've all seen this week, there's a chance 7 SEC teams could be 10-2, and figuring out who the heck is going to go to Atlanta, who's going to go to the playoffs, because there's only going to be, if Notre Dame wins, probably only 4 spots for the SEC. So you could have a 10-2 SEC football team that's sitting at home. I mean, that's where we're at right now. So, we say that Tennessee can lose this weekend, and they're still, probably going to be 10-2 if they take care of business versus Vanderbilt. But, you don't know that. You really don't. You may have a 10-2 Georgia, obviously Missouri's 10-2. I don't anticipate them getting in just because of the way they lost. You could have a 10-2 A&M. They beat Texas, a 10-2 Texas, a 10-2 Alabama. So, then all of a sudden Teddy's like, oh, well, we're 10-2 too, and we beat Bama. Well, maybe you get left out. So, yeah, this is as one of my co-hosts said, this is playoff Thunderdome time. Every single game means so much. You think 12 spots and you're a shoe-in, and you just don't know. So, no, I love college football. I love this season. I love the parity going on right now. And, I'm just excited to cover some more of these games the next 3 weeks and see what the heck unfolds.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. Aaron Murray joining us, ESPN analyst this morning on RK Dub. Aaron, when it comes to the quarterback position, this year in terms of who is going to declare for the draft, we got a pro team right here, and there's a big question mark at quarterback, clearly. When you're looking at this year's QBs coming out, and I know there's still a lot of ball to be played, who kind of sticks out to you who could possibly transition the best to that next level?
Well, I was hoping it'd be a better year, and I was hoping it'd be a better year in the SEC, but it's just kind of been a little bit of a downer. Obviously Shedur's playing lights out right now at Colorado. Excited to see them versus Utah this weekend and how they face a physical football team that has been struggling, obviously, with 5 straight losses, whatever it is for Utah. Yeah. So I think Shedur's playing at a really, really high level. Obviously Cam Ward at Miami is playing at a really high level. So I think it's kind of those two guys right now, both good size, good arms. Cam's a little bit more creative, but Shedur can work in. He can work in and out of the pocket. So I think to me, like those are the only two guys right now playing at a first round caliber of football. But I still really like Carson. I like Quinn Ewers. I think both those guys have really, really good traits. I think obviously Quinn's probably having a better year of the two right now. He had the one bad half versus Georgia. But other than that, I still think. Quinn throws with some of the best anticipation you'll see around college football. He plays in a very pro-style offense. I think translates to the next level well. The big hinder with him is he can't move. Yeah. And that's kind of my gripe nowadays. If it's 2024 and you're looking around college football, the NFL, it is hard to not say like I do not want a statue at quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. Just to be honest. Like I want a guy. You don't need to be Lamar. You don't need to be Jaden. But I need a guy that can at least run like a 4.7, that can get me something with his legs when things break down, that could, be like Bo Nix-esque maybe even too, like that level of athlete, like something like that. When you look at Quinn and, if you face a team that can rush the passer, he just can't get out of it. Like you have to protect him. So I think that's going to really hurt his draft stock. And, Jalen's another one too there. I mean, Jalen's ability to run the football. I mean, he is one of the most dynamic, explosive athletes that I've ever seen. So, if he continues to progress as a passer, and you've seen moments of improvement this season under DeBoer, I think it would probably be, in my mind, if I had to go like 1, 2, 3, probably Shedur, Cam 2, and then Jalen 3 if he does declare.
Yeah.
Terrific insight this morning. Former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. Snaps with him and T-Bob. Great watch on YouTube. Hit him up there. ESPN as well, talking college football. Aaron, we really appreciate it, man. Let's do it again soon. Thank you.
Definitely.
Hey, go Dawgs, baby.
Maybe not.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
I lost his number. I don't know what just
Aaron,
happened.
man. Appreciate you playing our game,
Murray
man.
With us here this morning. Really good stuff.
It was.
From him
good
today.
Perspective. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I had a little trash talk right there.
You had to, right? You had the opportunity.
It's only right, man. It's only right.
Why not?
Look, if he's buddies with Dobbs, he gets it.
I was going to say, he said Dobbs. I'm like, all right, cool. You're cool.
I'm just glad, man, he's just a guy. Because quarterbacks get put in boxes sometimes to where they just got to be so uber professional. And like seeing personality out of them, even on like a loose show, like or anywhere, you don't get an opportunity to see that often.
They can be a little stiff.
That's why offensive linemen make such good radio hosts.
This is also what I would say, too. Sometimes the superstar guys that people are looking for on the networks ain't the most entertaining.
Yes.
I ain't saying he's not a superstar guy because he was really good on this show and he played a lot of big ball at Georgia and he's got a name.
But he wasn't like an NFL caliber, right?
He's not Stafford. Like, I like these types of dudes more than if we got Matthew Stafford on.
But same thing with coaches, right? Like, the best players oftentimes, like, things come so naturally to them. Right. It's harder to explain the breakdown of how you are dominating.
Exactly.
Right. If you're good, but maybe not the transcendent physical attributes, talent.
Yeah.
Like you have to mentally process things at a higher level, which means you can explain it better.
Like he ain't got to be protected in everything that he says and does. And I love that about that. He can come back anytime after they lose on Saturday.
There you go.
Coming up, there is controversy in the Midwest about big noon kickoff. We got Joel Klatt sending tweets about it. We've got a new report this morning about Ohio State and Michigan not wanting primetime games. Kegs and eggs have become a big thing in Columbus, Ohio. We'll dive